Welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, I mean always, he means always, they mean always, you mean always, she means always, an instant classic.
Danny Dunn! Hi, J.
We will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
What is going on, good people, and welcome back to another edition of Juggernaut Retro Reviews. And throughout the month of May, I am reviewing every WWE Judgment Day installment. And today, we are talking about Judgment Day 2003, which this show was held on May 18th, 2003, from Charlotte, North Carolina. At the Charlotte Coliseum. The attendance for the show was 13,000, and the buy rate for the show was 317,000, which kind of makes sense. And this was a jointed pay-per-view. They weren't doing the whole, Raw separate pay-per-views, and they weren't doing the SmackDown separate pay-per-views yet. So this was both dual-branded pay-per-view here at this time. And overall, I thought this was a decent show. My overall thoughts on it, I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was I thought it was more like building up storylines, not like the greatest matches on here, but it's more like to build up storylines for future pay-per-views and to continue storylines here. But let's quit wasting time. Let's go ahead and get started with this review for Judgment Day 2003. So, the first match that kicks off the show is a 6-man tag team match. We got John Cena. So, a year prior to this, he was going up against John Cena was going up against Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. That was John Cena's first ever main event title match. So, which was really cool. But now he's here, in an opening match in a 6-man tag team match. So that tells you, in a match that didn't really have any substance, really didn't have any meaning. So that's telling you how much Johnson went down for a little bit. But, he did start off the show, kind of cutting a promo on his opponents, and he was acting like a heel quite a bit. He was a part of the heel team with FBI, Chuck Palumbo, and Johnny Stambolio. I think I said his name right. And Nunzio was in the corner of the FBI, and they were going up against Chris Benoit, Rhino, and Spanky. AKA Spanky was Brian Kendricks. If you guys don't know that, now you do. Very short match. It was decent for what happened in the match. John Cena and the FBI went over in this match. Like I said, it was a really short match, a 4-minute match here. Nothing really crazy in this match, didn't really lead to anything. It's just, to get people into the show and stuff. Nothing crazy. So yeah, I thought it was decent. Like I said, nothing crazy though. But let's move on to the next match. Next match we have is La Resistance. Sylvain Grenier and Rene Dupree going up against Scott Steiner and Test, and Stacy Keibler was in the corner of Test and Scott Steiner. Test and Stacy Keibler, at this time they were doing a kayfabed, storyline. They were boyfriend and girlfriend together. And this really wasn't much of a match here. This is more for the storyline between Scott Steiner and Test. So La Resistance, they just recently, made their debut around this time. They were taking out Scott Steiner, and they were thinking, why Americans why the American government hates French people. They were classic heels, going up against America. We've seen this before many times. So Test, he came to the ally of Scott Steiner. He became an ally of Scott Steiner. So they came to team up against La Resistance. Ultimately, Scott Steiner and Test, they didn't really, weren't connect. They weren't on the same page. They didn't connect with each other very well. Test hit Scott Steiner with a big boot to the face, and then that ultimately led to the demise of Scott Steiner and Test as a tag team here. La Resistance won the match. I think it all fell apart when Scott Steiner caught Test, and Test started getting jealous. He was he's very greedy, about his woman here. Stacy Keibler. So he kind of took that personal here. So that kind of led to the demise of the team. But yeah, La Resistance won this match. Like I said, La Resistance, I said in some past retro reviews, they were just your normal WWE tag team, that was made in like OVW, or FCW or OVW at the time. Yeah, they didn't really do very much here. But then after the match, we saw Stacy Keibler, attending to Scott Steiner, and Test he wasn't liking that. Test took Stacy Keibler away, grabbed her by the hand and said, "Hey, you're coming with me." So he was basically controlling what Stacy Keibler was doing, and that kind of planted the seeds for Scott Steiner and Test in the future here. But yeah, like I said, this wasn't really much of a match. It was just more for like advancing the storyline between Scott Steiner and Test, and with Stacy Keibler. But then the next match we had was a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We had Team Angle, which is Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, defending the titles against Eddie Guerrero and T.A.G. So at this time, T.A.G. took Chavo Guerrero's place because Chavo Guerrero got injured. And I said back in my Backlash 2003 review, like, Eddie Guerrero, he got elevated so much in these tag team matches. His personality really came out with him, like, during these matches against Team Angle, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin. But no, I thought this was a pretty decent match. And Eddie Guerrero and T.A.G., I thought that was a good pairing. Because both guys are very similar. They like to cheat a little bit and stuff. So, I mean, it was pretty good. And they both kind of like have the same physique about them. But there were some pretty good spots in this match. All four of these guys worked really good. I mean, Shelton Benjamin, really good in ladders, I mean, this is before, like, the Money in the Bank happened. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin, good in ladders. Charlie Haas, he's very good in the ring. T.A.G., he's very athletic. I mean, all four of these guys really did some good stuff in this match. I really liked the spot where it was Shelton Benjamin. Eddie Guerrero, he did a frog splash off the ladder onto Shelton Benjamin. That was nice during the match. Also, like another spot where Eddie Guerrero did a sunset flip onto Charlie Haas off the ladder. And I liked the ending of the match, like how it ended. It was very innovative, very creative the way they did it. So Shelton Benjamin it was Eddie Guerrero. He was on the ladder, and then Shelton Benjamin was getting ready to climb up. And nobody saw T.A.G. get back in the ring, and T.A.G. spits the mist into Shelton Benjamin's eyes, and that led to the Eddie Guerrero and T.A.G. Winning the WWE Tag Team titles. And of course, we knew what happened later on in the summertime, when they lost the titles, where Eddie Guerrero did his heel turn, and then when Chavo came back. They had the big feud with Eddie and Chavo, which was a really good feud. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, like I said, this was really, really good here. All four guys worked really well. And then the next match we had was a battle royal for the vacant WWE Intercontinental Championship. Also, another thing I want to add. So at this time, Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold, they were being like co-general managers. And I think it was Stone Cold's decision to bring back the Intercontinental Championship, because it was vacated like back in like 2002 or something like that. It was vacated there for a while, because like when they combined the World Championship and like the IC title, so it was vacated there for a while. And then I think it was Stone Cold's decision to bring back the IC title. I might be wrong, but go down in the comments if you exactly know. Like when, who brought the title back? I think it was Stone Cold though. But yeah, I think it was interesting how it was brought back in a battle royal. Not like they didn't like do like a tournament, like a Gold Rush thing or something like that. I don't know. I think it was very interesting. But I thought this was a decent match. I mean, the competitors we had in this match were Landstorm, Kane, Test was in the match, Val Venus, which at that time he was going as Chief Morley, which Stone Cold brought him back as Val Venus, so I thought that was pretty cool. Rob Van Dam was in the match, Gold Dust, Chris Jericho, Booker T, and of course Christian was in the match. I thought this was a decent match. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, your typical WWE Battle Royal where people get eliminated at random spots and stuff. But the last two, it came down to Booker T and Christian, which Booker T eliminated Christian, but the referee was down, so it didn't lead to Booker T getting the win. And also, I like the video package I did before this match, kind of showing the prestige that this the IC title meant. Showing like Pat Patterson, Honky Tonk Man, Stone Cold, The Rock, etc., etc. Triple H, showed so many wrestlers. Showed how important this title was. But yeah, like I said, it came down to Booker T and Christian. And Booker T eliminated Christian, but like I said, the referee was down, and also Pat Patterson was there to give the victor the title. The referee was down, and then Christian got back in the ring and ultimately threw Booker T over, which I think Booker T should have won this match. And everybody was a former IC champion, so I thought that was pretty cool, except for Booker T. He didn't win the IC title here. Or he wasn't the former IC champion at this point in his career. But yeah, Christian won the match, which I thought that was a smart decision also. Because at this time, he was kind of coming into himself as a singles competitor. After splitting apart from Edge, with Edge being on SmackDown and then Christian being on Raw. I thought this was a smart decision for them to do that here. But yeah, Christian won the match. Like I said, it was your typical WWE Battle Royal. And then the next match it wasn't even a match. It was a bikini contest between Tori Wilson and Sable. I mean, we all know my thoughts on like the whole how women were treated at this point. Like, I mean, I enjoyed watching this. Tori Wilson and Sable, two very hot women here, two of the hottest women at this point in WWE. Having them stripped down into basically nothing. I mean, Tori Wilson, won the bikini contest. If you haven't watched this, go check it out. Go check this bikini contest out. But yeah, we all know my thoughts how women were treated though. At this point, I wish they had better matches during this time. But these two women are pretty easy on the eyes. I mean, for my liking, they're pretty easy on the eyes. I mean, Tori Wilson is my favorite women's competitor. Like, I started watching wrestling in 2003, and that was who I was attracted to, was Tori Wilson. And she is a very attractive woman. And also another person I was really attracted to was Trish Stratus. Another person easy on the eyes. Like both these women here, Tori Wilson and Sable, I enjoy what was going on at this time, but like I said, I just don't like the way they were kind of treated at this point. Let's go on to the next thing now. Next thing we have is Mr. America, aka Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan, he left WWE at this point, and then he got brought back as Mr. America. And he's going up against Roddy Piper. And Sean O'Hare was in the corner of Roddy Piper. Like I said in my Backlash review, Sean O'Hare really went nowhere in his career, which he was a total waste, in my opinion. I mean, because he's a former WCW wrestler, and Vince didn't really care for him that much. Yeah, this was definitely a very, very short match. This goes back to my WrestleMania 1 vibes. The early WrestleMania vibes here. Which there was a funny backstage segment like earlier in the night. It was with Gregory Helms, aka Hurricane, and then Mr. America. So Gregory Helms goes like, "So is it true that Mr. America is actually Hulk Hogan?" And then Mr. America goes like, "Well, I heard that Gregory Helms is also Hurricane." So I thought it was funny the promo that they were doing back and forth with each other, saying, "Oh, I think it was Gregory Helms. He's going like, oh, my sources must be mistaken me," and Hulk Hogan was like, "Mine must be mistaken me as well." So I thought it was funny. I mean, we all knew it was Hogan. We all knew it was Hogan under the mask there. Mr. America. And also Zach Gowen was in the corner, which, he's more known as the one-legged wrestler, the amputated wrestler. The one-legged amputated guy. Yeah, if I can even speak right now. Yeah, I basically tried to help Mr. America from basically stopping Vince McMahon from getting involved in this match. Like I said, this was a very short match. A lot of outside interference, which kind of made sense and stuff. With like Sean O'Haire getting involved. But yeah, ultimately Hogan would, or Mr. America, would land the leg drop and get the 1, 2, 3. And then Vince, he tried to get involved, tried to break up the pin, but like I said, Zach Gowen stopped it. And this would lead to Zach Gowen, becoming a wrestler on the roster. So, yeah. Which I actually seen Zach Gowen, like, it was at my first ever, like, indie show here in Ottumwa, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, not very much of a match, more for, like, the storyline and stuff. Like, there's a constant theme for this show. Like, more, like, the matches aren't the greatest, but it's, like, to build up for storylines here, in my opinion. But next match we had was the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Triple H was defending the title against Kevin Nash, so Kevin Nash, he previously returned after Mania 19, and basically he had to choose the side either Shawn Michaels or Triple H. Basically, Triple H made the decision for him because he was playing both sides. So yeah, Kevin Nash and Triple H here. This match was basically a brawl, and it led to like a poor referee Earl Hebner getting beat down quite a bit in the match. I mean, there was a point where Hogan, he was going for a clothesline and then clothesline or hit a lariat and hit a lariat onto the referee, and then excuse me. And then we had Kevin Nash, he would end up, kind of putting his hands on the referee. So both of them were like putting their hands on the referee quite a bit in the match. And then later in the night, we had Triple H. He went to go for a sledgehammer. He was going to use it on Kevin Nash, but instead he nailed Earl Hebner with it, and then that led to disqualification. So Kevin Nash won the match, but it was by disqualification. So still your World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. And then this will ultimately lead to their big match at Bad Blood with the special guest referee. Which that's a really good match. I really enjoyed that match. They had that Bad Blood. But like I said, there really wasn't like a whole lot to this match. I really can't give this a really good rating because, like I said, it ended by disqualification. Really short match. It was more of a brawl, and we even had Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels get into it at the beginning of the match. That they went, they got into it. And then after the match, we had Kevin Nash beat down Triple H and give him a jackknife through the Raw announce table at the top of the stage. So like I said, they're just basically planting the seeds for their big Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. Which I can't remember who was the special guest referee for that match. Let me look really quick here. Bad Blood 03. Sorry. Let me look here. It was Mick Foley as a special guest referee. That's right. I thought it was Michaels for some reason. I don't know why. I know Michaels has been a referee at one point. But like I said, this trying to plant the seeds, to that big Hell in a Cell match, which is great. If you never watch that match, definitely go check it out. From Bad Blood 03. And then the next match we had was the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Women's Championship. Jazz was defending the title against Jacqueline, Trish Stratus, and Victoria. For this being like a really short match, I think all women worked very well together. There was this one nasty spot that Trish Stratus took onto the outside of the ring, and she got her like lip busted open. It looked pretty bad. Like she landed face first onto the ground. She got launched over the to the outside of the ring, which was pretty crazy there. But in the end, Jazz would ultimately end up retaining her title by hitting a DDT onto, I think it was Victoria, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, all women were doing pretty good in here. And I don't really know the whole story. I think the whole storyline behind this feud was like, so I think Trish Stratus was the women's champion going into Mania. And they had like a triple threat. And then Jazz won the title, and then that's how it became a Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, that's how it became a Fatal 4-Way here at Judgment Day. But like I said, Jazz won the match. Nothing much else to say about this match. Not much else to say about this match. There we go. And then the main event we had was a stretcher match for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar was defending the title against the Big Show. So at this time, there hasn't been a stretcher match in like 17 years. That's what they said. Which is crazy to think about. And stretcher matches can go either way. It can either be a good match or it can be really bad. And I thought this was a pretty decent match here. I mean, Big Show and Brock Lesnar, they had some alright matches. I mean, this is probably my favorite match that they had during this time. And kind of the whole storyline behind this was a Big Show. Back at Backlash, he injured Rey Mysterio. He put him on that stretcher. While Rey Mysterio was on stretcher, he smashed him against a ring post, which was pretty cool segment. Not gonna lie. And then Big Show on SmackDown was getting ready to beat up Rey Mysterio, and then Brock Lesnar basically says, "Hey, how about you pick on some of your own sides?" And that's how this feud basically got started. I say it was a decent match here. I really liked the way that Brock Lesnar won the match. He brought out a forklift. Like, it was Rey Mysterio. He returned at the show also. Like for like a distraction to help out. Brock Lesnar here. And right before Brock Lesnar could, right before Big Show could destroy Rey Mysterio. Brock Lesnar, he retreated backstage to go get a forklift, and he brought out the forklift and brought it to ringside and went on to the top of the forklift and hit a lariat onto Big Show. So that was pretty cool. And then after that, Brock Lesnar put a stretcher onto the plywood type of thing, or like onto the pallet that the forklift is on. And then roll Big Show on, and then went over the yellow line to ultimately win the match. And still, your WWE champion was Brock Lesnar. Like I said, it was decent. It was very innovative, the way that Brock Lesnar won the match, because he really couldn't push Big Show over that line just on the regular stretcher. He had to do it a different way because, Big Show weighs so much because he's a big guy. Like I said, both these guys really have really good chemistry in the ring with each other. But yeah, that was WWE Judgment Day 2003. Overall, I definitely recommend checking this show out. These Judgment Days are, usually pretty good. And I definitely recommend the match that you should check out on here is the ladder match for the WWE Tag Team titles. That's a good match. Also, definitely check out the Bikini Challenge. The Bikini Challenge, if I can speak right now, is really good to check out. Definitely check out that. The main event, you can check out that also. That's decent. The world title, check out that just to see how the storyline progresses between Triple H and Kevin Nash. But yeah, if this is your first time ever checking out my channel, please smash that subscribe button. That really helped me out a whole lot. Also, turn on the notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. So you don't have to wonder, oh, when's Juggernaut making a new video? Well, you guys will already know. And also go follow me on all my social media platforms. Go follow me on Twitter at TheTrueJSB. Go follow me on Instagram, TheTrueJSB. And also go subscribe to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. And go subscribe to the T.A.G. podcast. Their link will be down below in the description. All links for everything will be down below. And also go check out the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast merch that we have. You guys can go check that out. But this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out. And I'll talk to you guys on my next video, which will probably be my... Well, it's because I got quite a bit of things to do this week. Double or Nothing 2022 predictions. I'm going to be doing that. Also, I'm going to be doing a few more Judgment Days during this week. So stay tuned for that. And then later on, probably Monday or Sunday, I'll be doing my Double or Nothing review for 2022. So we got a lot of things this week. It's a big holiday weekend. Memorial Day is coming up here. So like I said, this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.